everyone. So today I'll give you a quick overview of the IB biology syllabus and introduce you to an essential topic that we'll talk into depth later, which is water. So the IB biology syllabus is structured to cover a range of different core subjects from molecular biology to genetics to ecology and evolution. So you'll see that the topics are breaking down by their foundation in both standard and higher level material, with additional depth in areas like biochemistry and human physiology for higher level students. So along the way, I'll show you what it looks like in both year one and year two. So first of all, in year one, the curriculum focuses on establishing core principles in biology and helping students build a stronger base for more complex materials in later year two. So first of all, we'll be covering things in cell biology, like covering cell theory, cell structure, membrane structure, and transport, as well as cell division. As for molecular biology, we'll be examining the structure and function of biomolecules like carbohydrates, lipids, proteins, and nucleic acids, and so on. And furthermore, we'll be talking about DNA replication and DNA structure, gene function, inheritance and genetic diseases, and so on in genetics. So finally, in ecology, we'll be talking about ecosystems, energy flows, and nutrient cycles, ecological niches, and conservation of biodiversity. So this is what it looks like for year one. And for year two will tackle more complex and more specialized topics compared to year one. And especially if you're in the higher level track, we'll be talking in more detail about things like human physiology and exploring the body's different systems like circulatory, respiratory, nervous, and immune system and how they integrate together. And also plant biology will be covering plant structure, growth, reproduction, and transport systems. This is more in depth for HL students. And ecology and biodiversity will be focusing on natural selection, speciation, and classification of organisms. And this is additional biochemistry for HL students. We'll be diving into respiration, photosynthesis, and other metabolic pathways. So why is water so special? First of all, water is special because of its molecular structure, and its molecular structure is what gives its universal or unique properties as a solvent. So obviously, water has one oxygen atom bonded to two hydrogen atoms, and the oxygen atom has a partial negative charge because it's slightly more electronegative than the hydrogen atom. And therefore, the hydrogen atom has a partial positive charge. So this is called a partial negative dipole and a partial positive dipole. And this charge difference makes water a polar molecule. So because of this polarity, water molecules form hydrogen bonding between each other. Hydrogen bonding is weak attraction between the partially positive hydrogen atom and a partially negative oxygen atom of another water molecule. And even though the hydrogen bonding is weak, collectively it can give the water unique properties essential for life. So as you can see in this picture, you see that the oxygen is slightly more electronegative and it pulls the shared electron towards itself. So it gives its negative dipole, and the hydrogen's a positive dipole. So this is what it looks like for water molecules to form hydrogen bonding between each other. So we can see there's a hydrogen bond between oxygen and a hydrogen atom of a different water molecule. The first property of water we'll be talking about today is water's solvent property. So water is a polar molecule, and therefore, other polar molecules will be able to dissolve in water. So water is often termed as a universal solvent, which means a lot of different things can dissolve in water. And this allows a lot of different chemical reactions to occur within water, and especially in the cell, because the cell is consists of water, right? And also metabolites can transport more efficiently due to its solvent properties. It melts into the water, basically, so water is able to transport it from one place to another. Like things, for instance, like gas diffusion, water can transport different gases, right? So this property of water is quite important because it allows different metabolites and different functions of life to occur within the cell. So the second property is water's high specific heat capacity. And what is specific heat capacity, first of all? So specific heat capacity is the energy required to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of substance by 1 Celsius. So this is really important, and we should know the definition of specific heat capacity. So energy required to raise the temperature of 1 kilogram of substance by 1 Celsius. And it means that if water has high specific heat capacity, it will take a lot of energy to raise the temperature of water. And why is this important? Because it provides a suitable and stable habitat for organisms. Because water doesn't change temperature easily, it provides a suitable and maintained temperature throughout, right? So obviously organisms don't have to adapt to new temperatures, and it'll be a more suitable and safe environment for it to survive. And also, it's able to maintain a constant temperature, as water is able to absorb a lot of heat without any wide temperature fluctuations. So, when in biology, we need to understand that homeostasis is quite important. It's important that we keep a constant environment for organisms to survive. And the concept of homeostasis and the concept of maintaining a certain environment, water's high specific heat capacity is very useful. Water has high latent heat of vaporization. So what it means is it will take a lot of energy for it to change state. So change state from liquid to gas. A large amount of thermal energy must be absorbed by water to break the hydrogen bondings and allow individual gas particles to evaporate. So this explains water's high boiling point around 100 Celsius. And this also means that water will act as a very good coolant. So obviously, if we're sweating and the sweat evaporates, we become our temperature become cooler, right? So this is a very good example of the fact that because water has high latent heat of vaporization, when it vaporizes, it takes a lot of heat, thermal energy with it. So this is a very good property that living organisms use to survive, right? So just to give a summary of what I just talked about. So the first property is the water's solvent properties, and allows chemical reactions to occur. It's a very good transport medium, as I just said. It transports different types of gases. And the reason for this is the polarity of water. So polar substances can melt in water. So why is water polar? Because water has a negative dipole in the oxygen region and the positive dipole in the hydrogen region. This is an example of what it means to be polar. And the second property is the high specific heat capacity. And this allows organisms to live in a suitable and stable environment without any big temperature fluctuations. And optimal temperature is maintained within cells and bodies. So the reason for this is the presence of many hydrogen bonds, because hydrogen bonding requires a lot of energy for it to be broken. It's not very easily broken in the first place. The third property I just talked about is the high latent heat of vaporization. And this is very good because it acts as a coolant for organisms. Like water evaporating, it takes a lot of thermal energy with it, and the temperature of the organism will obviously decrease along. And the reason for this is the presence of many hydrogen bonds, just like I just said above. Okay, so this is what I'll be talking about for today. And I'll be talking about in detail other properties of water and how water reacts with different types of molecules in other further units.